Inquiring about praying for a traveler who is airborne. If somebody is on a flight and it's a long flight, how can we keep track of the prayer times and the Qibla? Very interesting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ كَانَتْ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ كِتَابًا مَوْقُوتًا. This verse mandates two things. First is to establish the prayers, the 5 daily prayers. The second is to establish and offer them on their fixed times. Then the person will be given the concession of combining certain prayers at the time of either one of them due to traveling, in addition to shortening the prayers. In the state of the traveling, the person may combine Dhuhr and Asr together with one adhan if it is Jama'ah and 2 different iqamas. And if the person is praying by himself, then he will be in need for an iqama for each prayer, but he must pray them consecutively. So if he is praying Dhuhr, he can pray only 2 rak'ahs at the time of Dhuhr and follow that by praying 2 rak'ahs for the Asr. Or he can do otherwise by praying the Dhuhr at the time of Asr, and the time of Asr is extended until sunset. Of course, it is disliked to postpone it until the end of the time, and it becomes forbidden to pray once the sun sets entirely. To pray Asr, of course, it will become a major sin to postpone the prayer from its fixed time. Same thing with the Maghrib and Isha. The person who's traveling may pray Maghrib right after sunset and immediately follow it by praying Isha 2 rak'ahs. Or can postpone Maghrib to be prayed with Isha, but both of them must be offered before midnight, depending on wherever you are. Midnight in some areas may extend to be 12 hours, sometimes more, and sometimes much less than that. In some countries, the night will be only a few hours, a couple of hours, 3-4 hours. So midnight will be half of the time that is estimated between sunset and dawn, divided by 2. That is midnight. The person is not allowed to postpone the Isha prayer, or if he is combining Maghrib and Isha, then Maghrib and Isha should not be postponed to past midnight, or be considered again a major sin. فخلف من بعدهم خلف أضاعوا الصلاة واتبعوا الشهوات فسوف يلقون غيا. The ayah describes the fate of those who wasted their prayers, not by not praying entirely, rather by postponing the prayer and not offering the prayer on its fixed time. So we have to pay attention to that. So if the person is traveling, or if the person is on the battlefield, or if the person is lying down on his deathbed, severely ill, as long as he or she is conscious, they must offer the prayer. And Allah made it very easy and affordable for every person to pray according to their capacity. صَلِّ قَائِمًا. The Prophet ﷺ said, pray while standing. Standing during the fard is one of the pillars of the prayer. فَإِن لَمْ تَسْتَطِعْ فَقَاعِدًا. If you fail to stand up due to ailment, or if you're stuck somewhere like in the cabin of the plane, you don't have a chance to stand up, صَلِّ قَاعِدًا. Then you may pray while sitting down. And if one is disabled and is severely ill, cannot even sit up, then in this case, فَعَلَى جَنْبٍ, while lying down or on your side. No one is exempt from offering the prayer except women during their menses. Okay. So if you are airborne, if you're flying and it's a long journey, there is a beautiful program that is affiliated with Huda TV. It's called Islamic Finder. Islamic Finder, may Allah bless the brothers who are behind it, made it very easy for every Muslim on earth to find the direction for Qibla and the prayer times wheresoever they may be, even if he is airborne. Every single city on earth, once you type it or download it to your mobile phone, to your laptop, your desktop, and you can print out the sequence if you're traveling from one point to another to find out what will be the prayer time and the exact direction for Qibla in this place versus other stops that you may have to stop at. So it will help you a great deal. That's your itinerary. Similar to every person who's approaching the airport, they have their flight itinerary, they have their reservations, they have their seat booked and everything. Similarly, you have to have the prayer time schedule along with you. And it's perfectly fine to carry a small plastic or fabric janamaz, prayer rug, in case that you may need to pray anywhere. If you are in the plane, and in some flights, they have a designated area for the prayers. And if they don't, then you may ask those who are in charge, seek the assistance of the captain or others, the host or the hostess, that if they can assist you as far as the direction to Mecca. It's very easy with the navigation system, they can tell you. Let's say that there is a room where you can stand up and pray, then in this case you must stand up, you must face the Qibla for the farther prayer. They don't allow that. Fine, you don't have to argue. You can pray in your seat. But the direction of the Qibla is tilted a little towards the right or the left. If you can tilt and move towards the Qibla in your seat, fine. But if it is entirely against the direction of the flight, so it is towards the back, of course you cannot turn 180. Then in this case, you just pray in the same direction that the flight is taken off or flying towards, and there is no blame on you. All of that is understood from the verse, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah and keep your duty to Him as much as you can. Well, of course, if the person knows that I might arrive before the next prayer time, then in this case, it's better. You can just, when you land and you have your compass, or if you have it on your phone, you can find out the direction and spread your janamaz and pray at the airport or anywhere. وَجُعِلَتْ لِيَ الْأَرْضُ مَسْجِدًا وَطَهُورًا. The whole earth for the believers is a masjid, a place for sujood. And the earth itself is a tahir. You can just pray on the floor, on the ground, as long as it is not polluted or contaminated with any impurities.